Hello, I am Brett Dupree, and welcome to my awesome health journey. Today, I am talking about something that, something happened in my life recently. Not to me, but to someone I know. I just want to mention that my biggest mistake in my life and one of my biggest regrets, when I really think about it, when I really get down to it, is getting so involved in self development part, which getting involved with the self part of self development. In fact, it wasn't really self development. It was by myself development. My fear to be vulnerable in front of people, my fear of really connecting, that wall I would build so I wouldn't get hurt that I pretty much created when I was a child, really came out and continued throughout most of my adulthood. And one thing about having a nutritionist and having my therapist and my psyche practitioner and yeah, even going to the doctor and all that stuff, but really showed me that it's important to get help if you need it. And I understand it's also a privilege in a sense that it's not available to everyone. If I didn't have insurance, I wouldn't have two of them for sure. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't seek out help early on. That it was price, but even when I was in a decent situation monetarily, it would have been worth it to seek out help and really work on getting more emotionally available and really working on myself. Because the more I realize, the more I think about like the last year and a half, the intuitive eating thing. Technically I'm not doing it now because I'm trying to lose weight with the Ozempic. Is that I would have quit. There's no chance in hell I would have continued doing that, especially as I gained weight, trying to work on that things, and especially early on, doing all those food challenges and failing over and over again, and almost like doing my eating disorder to get rid of my eating disorder, of like binging and stuff like that, and trying to work on binging so I stopped binging, and it worked in a sense, at least for me in that regard, but I wouldn't have been able to get through that without help. I wouldn't have. That was impossible. I was too sad. That was depressing. That was hard. It was very hard. And without help, I would not have been able to do it. And also going through my depression that I went through, having people to talk to who are professional. As I mentioned over and over again, yes, it'd be awesome if I can't afford it to have friends that you can talk to. But there's just something about a professional whose job it is to work on that is helpful. So if you're able to do it, I highly, highly suggest it. There's just something about talking to another person whose job it is to work with you through that thing you're working through, which is it's just one of the problems with talking with friends or loved ones. Like as I've mentioned before, loved ones really want to see you fixed. They really want to see you not in pain. So a lot of times they're talking with you through things. The most important thing is like if you feel bad, they want you to not feel bad. And because they're just not trained in that. I'm not trained in that. I'm not saying like I'm great at it. I would love to say, like I see on Facebook where people post something along the lines that if you ever need to talk to somebody, I'm here for you. And you're right. And yeah, I will do my best. Historically, I haven't done great sometimes. Sometimes I've known I let some people down. And when it comes to that regard of when they did reach out to me, sometimes I stepped up. But because like I'm my own person and I go through my own things. And so if I'm feeling bad and in the dumps and someone comes to me for help, I don't have the capacity at that time to truly help them even if I want to. You know? And that's what friends and family have. They don't they're not setting down the space and the expectation and getting paid to do that at that time. And yeah, I understand it's also a privilege, of course, because you have to be able to pay for it. So I think if you do find help with friends, if you can do a good job of setting those boundaries so that, you know, it can become what you need. But just if you can, and if you're like wibble wobbling on whether you should or not, please seek it. And even if you don't think you really need to, but I would suggest trying it to see what you can work on and what you can work through, because just going through that is helpful. I think everyone should experience some therapy in their life, and hopefully they find, the right therapist and get the help that they need. I mean, I've heard horror stories of therapy, but, I've heard horror stories of going to McDonald's, so it's not like that is, I'm just saying, there's crappy people in every field, no matter what, from McDonald's to therapy to CEOs to software engineers. Like, crappy people exist. That's just the way life is. But basically what I'm saying is, like, yeah, the best thing I did in my life was finding help that truly helped me. Finding people whose expertise was in the area I needed help, and who meshed with me and was able to work with me. And to be honest, especially my first therapist didn't mesh with me in a way help I needed. I wish I learned about that at that time, but she was a nice lady. She just didn't help me the way I needed to be helped. I didn't even recognize that until I got the next therapist, who was better. She was great, but at the same time, she just didn't have the expertise in the areas that I needed to work with. The lady afterwards was fine. She was needed for the next step, the cognitive behavior therapist. She was good, but the one after, Sam, has been perfect. So it took me a while even to find the help that worked for me at the same time. So it's worth it to continue to move forward. Life is hard, especially in our modern society, which is kind of lonely. It's just a lonely society. I'm in my house all day. I see people every once in a while, and we just don't have third places, and it's just the way the world is. And we have so many things like to worry about. Global warming, all the things happening in politics, or just natural disasters, trying to save money just in case something happens, cancer. There's so many things. Friends dying, people dying, people going through terrible things. I know multiple people who suffered homelessness, and there's nothing I could really do about it because I just don't have the means to really help everybody in my life. And yeah, so we just have a lot to deal with, and it's okay to seek help. There's nothing unmanly about it. There's nothing weak about it. In fact, I would say for myself, seeking help has proven me stronger than before when I was trying to do everything myself. And yeah, I don't think there's any glory in doing it yourself. At least there wasn't for me. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. I hope you have an amazing time, and I love you. I think you're pretty cool.